Hey team, it's Bethany from Beth and Books and welcome back to my book nook. Today we are filming another episode of Wheel Chooses My TBR. I'm going to leave a timestamp down below if you want to skip straight to it. But before we do that, I'm going to do a quick wrap up, just giving you the stars of what I've read. First and foremost, I read We Hunt the Flame for Pretty Cover. I gave this 4 stars. I read Revenge by Yoko Ogawa for the translated text and gave this 3 stars. For one of the oldest books on my TBR, I read The Maze Runner. Really loved this. 5 stars, definitely. Do want to get the Scorched Trials out at one point. For the colour pink on the cover, I picked up With the Fire on High. I am still currently reading this. It's my current read, so don't have any stars for it yet, but so far quite enjoying it. I can't remember what the prompt was, but I read The Martian, and thank you to that one person, I'll find your name, thank you for commenting saying it was humorous, because I freaking loved it and it made me way less scared to pick it up. 5 out of 5. Cannot fault it. And for those 2 acts I mentioned, City of Zadai I haven't got round to, but you know, it's not due back at the library, so that's still there. And I'm also currently reading Ordinary Girls. Wow, by the way, all reviews for these in my Goodreads link in bio. The 2 books I haven't gotten around to are Twilight and Little Life. Let's start with this one. It's simply a chunky boy, and I know I've got to be in the right mood because it is a tearjerker and I've just not been in that mood. Definitely not a DNF though. I do want to read it at one point, so it's just going back to the library for now until the time it comes again. And then Twilight. I was kind of pumped for this, and I'm going to keep it on my TBR because I do still really want to do that reread, but I never got around to it and I'm not feeling inspired to read it anytime soon, so hence we're starting Spin the Wheel. So roll out that tune, editing me. As always, I am going to spin the wheel 10 times and get 10 prompts, and there'll be insets of future me when I've gotten the book out from the library or off my shelf. By the way, I did a massive haul. I hauled 41 new books, so I've got a bit of a selection to work with. I'll link that video somewhere if you want to have a peek. But for now, you know, let's just get on with it. Hopefully we can see how is this brightness level. There we go, that might help. So for book number 1. Okay, from my 100 books, which is actually a scratch off poster here, most of them are classics, so I'll have to have a look and choose one of those to read. Alright, so it is 8 PM, so we're working with some artificial lighting, but I'm sure you guys are fine with that. So for this prompt of a classic, I picked up A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess, which is actually a special edition compiled and edited by Andrew Bissell as he restores the text to how Burgess originally intended it. And it is written like a memoir, however it is about the fictional life of Alex, who essentially kind of has a pretty horrific background, and it's shared within this memoir-like tale. I'm extremely curious to see what my response to the topics is like. And that gets changed out for a standalone. So for book number 2. Oldest on TBR. For oldest on the TBR, I picked up The Girl Who Kicked a Hornet's Nest, which is book number 3 in the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo Elizabeth Salander series, and this is the final book in what I personally consider the original trilogy. I'm not terribly interested in reading the rest of the series that were written by can't remember his name, I'll throw a picture up, but I do really want to finish this. In fact, can you see, one of my recent hauls was this actual entire trilogy, so here we go. And then that is being replaced with Ugly Cover, always a controversial one. So for spin number 3, yes, okay, follow a favourite jar. Yeah, right, I'm pretty sure I just ripped that off from Blue's Clues, but anyway. And shout out to @JessLovesToRead13, who recommends Shamed by Linda Castillo. I hope that the library has that. Shout out to you, girl. I will, at this point, would have messaged you on Instagram. So to claim your prize, if you don't know, every time a name is pulled from the follow a favourite jar, they get a $5 Amazon gift card just to go towards their next bookish purchase. Just passing on the bookish love, doing what I can for the book community, and that stays on there. Alright, and I did manage to find Shamed by Linda Castillo at the library. This is an adult mystery thriller, and it's surrounded by this Amish grandmother, I'm pretty sure it said grandmother, English grandmother who is brutally murdered and her grandchild goes missing, and the detective on the case is following up these leads, but everywhere she goes, the murderer leaves behind these really cryptic notes, and slowly a secret is uncovered. It does sound extremely thrilling, horrifying, and gripping. What does it say? A novel of suspense. It does sound like it's that. So I do have somewhat high expectations for the amount of thriller levels. So for spin number 4, okay, we can work with this. I'm sure there are some big books out there that I won't be scared of. For my big book, I picked up Eragon. This is by Christopher Paolini, and if I include the pronunciation guide and glossary at the back of the book, it reaches 503 pages, so I'm counting it, especially because I have some whoppers to come. So Eragon, in case you haven't heard, is a young adult fantasy written by Christopher, I believe. He started writing it when he was 15, and he self-published it when he was 17, and then it went from there. So I mean, huge props to the guy. And this tale all starts when our main character Eragon discovers a shiny blue stone, and he looks after it, and lo and behold, a dragon hatches. So essentially overnight Eragon becomes a dragon rider, and we just follow him as his world as we know it completely changes. And I have read this before when I was about 16, but I genuinely cannot remember what happens except one random scene about a castle. But literally all I remember is that Eragon was having a conversation in a castle with some fella. I'm sure it'll be good. Alright, and that gets replaced with my, helps if it's in the frame, mum picks. Last time she picked a classic, a Charles Dickens one, and I DNF'd it. Sorry, ma'am. Right, spin number 5. A sequel. This is always useful for all of those series I still have ongoing, even though I finished so many of them in May, because apparently I don't know how to stop. For sequel, and this is what I mean about another big book, I picked up Gemina. This is co-written by Amy Coffin and Jay Kristoff, and it is book 2 in the Illuminae trilogy. I absolutely loved Illuminae, and I have actually gotten this one out from the library before, but I just was scared by the size of it. But I am hoping now that we're getting into super cozy seasons, it's autumn, winter here in New Zealand, that I will be able to snuggle down with a blanket one weekend and make some really good progress with it. Oh, also, if you don't know, this is a really cool sci-fi out of space kind of story about kind of like survival, friendship over a long distance, and what comes from your bravery. And that gets replaced with boyfriendo picks. Hey! So for spin number 6. Standalone. Okay. I've got some series going on, and I've got a standalone novel going on. I mean, to be honest, that opens up a lot of opportunities. There are many books on my want to read shelf which are standalones. Right, standalone. Oh, by myself. So for my standalone pick, I picked up The Deep. This is written by Rivers Solomon with David Diggs, William Hudson, and Jonathan Snipes. And it's essentially a mermaid story, but these women become mermaids when they are actually pregnant African-American slaves who are thrown overboard, and they manage to survive in a fantastical way. And this kind of sounds like a dark retelling of The Little Mermaid, in that the main character, Yetu, she remembers like the memories of her people, the mermaids who are called the Regenru, and she goes to the surface and things kind of get more intense for her there. Also, it's quite short, a lot shorter than I thought it would be. It is about 160 pages, kind of the same length as the Seanan McGuire Wayward Children series length books. So articulate, yay. That gets replaced with a random TBR. Oh, I love this. Okay, I will go on Instagram on my laptop and insert what the first one is I find here, because reality check, I use my phone to film, so. So, not gonna lie, I kind of cheated for this one. For the prompt bookstagram, you will have seen I went for a scroll, and essentially the first one I came across that I hadn't read that was in the library was To Kill a Mockingbird, but then like I mentioned, I couldn't find To Kill a Mockingbird in the library because I was going to double it up as a classic read. So then I was like, well, what do I get out? Like, I can't just redo my bookstagram. Do you know what I'll do? I will read a book about lesbian skeleton army people. Why? Because it sounds absolutely fascinating and the library had it, so I picked it up before someone else did. So this is a YA fantasy, and it is to do with lesbian necromancers who do their cool, creepy stuff, whilst also some trials for them to be overcome. Honestly, I don't know much else about that. Even when I read the blurb, it doesn't enlighten me very well, but honestly, just the lesbian necromancers skeleton vibe had me hooked, and also the trials element, because I've learned that I really enjoy a good sort of game challenge element in my books. So Gideon the Ninth, and it is written by Tamsin Moore. And that one gets replaced with latest add to TBR. Cool. If you guys have any ideas of prompts that you don't see on my wheel, please leave a comment below and I'll add them in next time I get around to it. Right, so for spin number, what are we? 8. Hey, and there we have it, latest add to TBR. The latest book that I had added to my TBR was Paula Hawkins' The Girl on the Train. So this is an adult mystery. Not too sure if there's murder involved at this stage, and essentially we have our regular kind of female character, regular in the sense that she's originally not very extraordinary, she's just living her life, and she's on the train and she looks outside the train and she sees something she wasn't meant to see, and essentially the story just runs from there. I've had a lot of praise for Paula Hawkins, and especially centered around this novel of hers, so I'm super excited to actually have gotten my own copy of this, super cheap, secondhand, and adding it to this ever-growing pile. I just realised that normally I only do 8 spins, but I've said 10, so we may as well have all of those extra options. So the video continues. We have that one being changed out for an adult novel, which is always a good way to extend my YA horizons. Right, for book number 9. Random TBR. I don't know what that tune is, but we've got it. Okay, I have to admit, when I was doing the random TBR number system, I don't know if I got the number right, but I think I was in the right general area, and so I picked up Late to the Party. This is written by Kelly Quinlan. So this book is a young adult contemporary romance which also has LGBTQIA plus representation. Cody is 17 years old. She's quite introverted. She just likes to spend a lot of her time watching Netflix in the basement with her friends, until one day she decides to go to her party with her friends, and at the party she discovers one of the popular boys kissing another boy. So there is a male-male relationship there. But the thing is, popular boy doesn't want everyone to know that he's gay, and in compensation for her silence, he takes her under his wing and teaches her how to be popular. And it just sounds like a really interesting commentary on teenage life and the world of popularity. And a contemporary prompt. Right, for the 10th and actual final spin for this edition, we have... Okay, contemporary it is. I can do that as well. I can do that. Hey guys, so like looking back on footage, I have absolutely no idea how this wheel went from like alphabet roulette to contemporary. I'm guessing I like nudged it at... And the very last one I have here is a little bit of a rom-com, to be honest. This is Devil Wears Prada by Lauren Weisberger. If you saw my latest haul video, you would have seen that I kind of accidentally bought this entire series. So let's make a start on it. I did really enjoy the chick flick movie version of this. And as always, books are better than movies. I mean, fight me, but at least 99.99% of the time, the books are better. So I'm really interested to see if I love this one as much as the movie, or if I love it even more. I'm hoping for the more, but you know, it's a chick flick, it's a rom-com. If you're unfamiliar, this is an adult romance comedy, and it follows Andrea, and she has recently gotten a job in this big like fashion company, and she's essentially the assistant to one of the higher ups, and she's having to very quickly learn the world of fashion. I remember a clip from the movie where I think it's Gucci, some real famous like high tier brand, calls up and she's like, yeah, who are you? I really enjoyed the movie, but that's the book. It's all about fashion and living life, and when you don't have that work-life balance situation sorted, how things can go downhill from there. So that is my massive towering pile of my current TBR. Realistically, I don't think that I will get through all of these. Yay for optimism. But you know what? I'm gonna make a good attempt. So thank you all for watching to the end of the video. If you have liked it, please consider leaving a like and subscribe down below. Thank you all for all the likes and the attention that the last Spin My Wheel TBR got. Really appreciate it, team. And enjoy other places you go on your own reading adventures. Till next time, bye.